An hour of truth for the battered but proud people of the Empire State. From the financial and entertainment epicenter of New York City to the sleeping and empty small cities and towns of upstate, which once bustled with manufacturing, mining, and farming. We all know from inspiration, history, and nature, we deserve a return to the success and growth of generations past, a birthright being squandered by corruption in Albany, and the depredations of an insecure, scheming mountebank posing as governor, who loathes both us and himself. As liberty beckoned to enslaved peoples behind the Iron Curtain via American broadcasts after World War II, we now say, believe, rise, and join us. Welcome to Radio Free New York.
Hey guys, welcome to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, and today we've got Bob Savage here with us as well.
Well, safe distance away you do.
Yeah, we took that 3-foot rule and we certainly applied it. So,
well, and then some, because we're nowhere near, we're miles apart. So, and not only that, you know, it's just an electronic association.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm in Rochester, Bob's in Avon. So we've certainly met our 3-foot rule quota for the day, I think.
I think even Cuomo would approve at least of the distance, if not the programming. But we digress.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So before we kick off the show, I do have an announcement for you guys. You guys have heard me over the last week or two talking about getting petitions signed to help get candidates on the ballot. And I've been stressing to you guys how important that is, whether you're registered libertarian, conservative, Republican, Democrat, Independent, Green, Sam. I'm sure I'm missing some party out there. Governor Cuomo has actually changed the requirements and changed the dates.
No way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we kind of knew this was probably coming. To be honest, I think the way that he changed it was probably fair, which is something I don't say very often about him. So, I hold the right, though, to change my mind later. But the petitioning was supposed to end, I believe, the 28th or the 30th of this month. It's actually ending tomorrow night. So it's being shut down about 10 or 11 days early, and the number of signatures that candidates need to get to be on the ballot have been reduced down to 30%. So it's been reduced by 70%, which I believe should give candidates enough buffer to still get themselves on the ballot. However, if your candidate has been slacking and leaving stuff to the very last minute, or if you, as somebody who wanted to sign a petition, have left things to the last minute, there might be some campaigns that's going to be tight, that's going to be close. So I would really recommend you reach out to your local county committees. This is a statewide thing, so Monroe County is not the only one impacted. Reach out to your committees, find out if there's candidates who need signatures, and try to meet up with them today. Tomorrow, 5 p.m. is the deadline. So if you want to help a candidate get on the ballot, all you got to do is sign. It's now or never, guys.
Wow. That's a really tight time frame. Isn't that, I mean, you're talking about basic essential fairness. Doesn't that violate that?
I don't know if it does or if it doesn't, to be honest, because all of the candidates have had the same amount of time to collect signatures. So
but the deadline's been moved way up.
Yeah, no, and that's totally true. So the deadline has been moved, but I think to be fair to that, they reduced the requirement down by 70% to make up for that. And I think that we've had maybe 60% of the time for collection. So I think it's actually, a lot of people were speculating that it would be reduced by 50%. It was reduced by 70%. So I think, and somebody might have better numbers than me, but I think it might be actually a lot easier for candidates to get on the ballot this time compared to other times. But I could be wrong. Somebody could have numbers and prove me wrong. That's just my gut feeling based on the amount of time given. So with that being said, I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of that you guys knew that. If you do want to get a candidate on the ballot, today is the day. Reach out to them. try to get your signature on one of those forms so they can witness it to get your candidates on the ballot. And if you may have seen, Cuomo just wrapped up an address. They are asking well, I don't think they're asking at this
No,
point.
no, they're
Uh,
ordering.
restaurants, movie theaters,
Bars.
and some, yeah, bars. They are shutting down today as of 8 p.m. There are some minor exceptions to that. We're actually going to talk about it during the show because we're going to talk about how technology can kind of like impact this, some of the economic impacts. But you should all be aware grocery stores are still going to be open as best they can. Gas stations are still going to be open as best they can. Any like essential services will be open, but restaurants, bars, movie theaters, they're closing down at 8. Bob, are there any others that you're aware of?
Health club. Did I say gyms? Gyms,
Oh,
health clubs?
gyms.
Yeah.
Yep, gyms, health clubs, that sort of thing. They're closing down.
Casinos.
And yes, the casinos. Now, I will point out that people said it's not bad until the casinos shut down, and well, I don't know where that stands in terms of if the casinos wanted to shut down or not. I'm not sure if they were even full or not, but the casinos are also being shut down, and that is until further notice. So there's no set date. There's no set time frame. That is until the governor says otherwise, essentially. So that is that is that update. I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. Definitely check, call ahead if you're going to go somewhere. Something that is really simple, especially if you don't want to waste a trip somewhere, is say you are going to a grocery store, you can call ahead and ask them if they have what you're looking for in stock. I've done that on every trip I've done so far. It's been very effective. I've had to call maybe 4 or 5 Wegmanses before getting out there just to make sure that they have what I'm looking for. So just kind of another thing there that save you some time, save you some frustration. I know things are getting a little crazy out there. But that actually kind of lines up very well with what today's topic is going to be. Today's topic, I want to talk about maybe something a little different. I don't know. Maybe some other people are talking about this, but I want to talk today about the positive takeaways we'll have from coronavirus. Things I'm seeing happening in the community, things I'm seeing happening in businesses, some political things that are happening, social things that are happening. I think that is as this goes through. And I don't know what the right thing to call this. Bob, would we call this a crisis? Do you think this is this worthy of being labeled a crisis? Maybe.
It's a crisis. I think it's a crisis in public confidence. But I really, you take a look and you put all this in perspective. We've had 78 deaths from highly susceptible people. I believe that the median age of the people who've passed away from coronavirus is 80. Meaning as many people older than 80 as younger than 80 have been infected fatally with this. We've had 22,000 flu deaths this season.
Yeah. So yeah, I think something I talk about often is that perception is truth, and we can explore that a little bit more. But I think in general, when I look at this situation, I look at how society is reacting to it. And even if we as individuals know that maybe the coronavirus isn't as dangerous as it appears to be, since people are reacting as if it is in society, that kind of creates the truth of what we're living today.
Another interesting stat that we pass along is as recently as Friday, 19% of coronavirus cases nationally were classified as critical. That's down to 7% now.
Oh, wow. No, that's great. That's really good. Actually, it's interesting because I was trying to figure out what the numbers were, and I thought as of yesterday they were around 6 or 7%. So I'm glad to hear that that is indeed the case. All right, guys, we are going to take our first break here of the hour. When we come back, we're going to talk about some positive takeaways from coronavirus, and then if we get to it, maybe we'll talk about some fun things you can do while stuck at home with family and friends. We'll be back in a moment on Radio Free New York.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
College Assistance Plus has worked with thousands of families, saving them millions of dollars. It can be stressful choosing the right college, but we're here to help. CA Plus will guide you from college visits to college graduation and through every step in between. Each student and family situation is different, and we work to accommodate those specific needs. Call today for a free family meeting, 585-582-1846, or visit collegeassistanceplus.com for more information. College is expensive. College Assistance Plus can help.
A reminder from Abate Monroe County. American bikers aim toward education. Distracted driving is dangerous, so pull over and eat. Don't try to read your mail and newspaper, and stay off your cell phone. Make a mental note to be more alert, making it a habit to expect the unexpected. Remember to look twice. Save a life. Train yourself to watch for motorcycles which are harder to see. Join Abate, and your family will be protected with a free $4,000 accident policy. Ride safe. Ride free. Ride often. Abate. If you ride with us. Google Abate Monroe County.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister, and today we're just talking about some positive takeaways that we can take from coronavirus, because that's not really what's on the news right now. But I think there are. I think there are some very good positive takeaways. Some of them are political, some of them are community-based, some of them relate to small businesses, our education system, a whole number of things. And I think that it's important that when we go through a time of crisis or concern, that we look at the situation and make sure that we understand the things that we can take away, that we can become better from, or how we might become better during this. So the first thing I'll hit is the political stuff, because that's kind of easy for this show, right? So I'll take away this one, and Bob, I think you'll appreciate it. During one of Cuomo's recent live streams, he actually admitted that centralized control is not the answer.
If only he meant that.
Yeah, if only. And he actually went into a pretty in-depth argument against centralized control, which was very surprising, to be honest.
A little hard to reconcile that with his actions.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But he went as far to say that centralized control is inefficient, ineffective, and slow. So I was pretty surprised to hear that come from him. He did defend centralized control just a little bit, saying
Yeah.
that centralized control can be good for quality control when you want all the things to happen exactly the same with the exact same outcome. But that in general, especially with dealing with things like the FDA, that the way the FDA is running things and centralized control is slowing things down, and they need to be like more efficient, and the way to do that is to allow states to do their own thing. And you guys know I've been beating the drum for localization for a long time, so I just can't wait for the opportunity to say, hey, Cuomo, really had a just really compelling argument to reduce centralized control, and I'd love to see that happen in New York on the county level and allow counties to be more efficient, less slow, and less costly as well. I'm sure he'll disagree.
I would admonish you to be careful. Cuomo is an absolute, dyed in the wool, forever progressive, and they are not above telling you stuff that is they don't really believe.
Oh, sure. No, absolutely. And I think it's convenient for him because he was saying that in terms of a federal agency, because he wants all the power he can possibly have, and eliminating some of the centralized control of the federal government gives him the most power he can get in New York.
Yeah, I mean, you put this broadly in the same category as remember how Kirsten Gillibrand told us she was a big Second Amendment advocate?
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah. Yep. I think she even got like an A or a B rating from the NRA originally.
Yeah, because she lied to them, and they bought her line of malarkey. Well, copyright Joe Biden, by the way. It's a copyrighted phrase owned by him. But yeah, I remember she told us all that she slept with a shotgun or a rifle. Can't remember which under her bed, which of course is just a bunch of hooey.
Yeah, yeah. So that was the first kind of political positive that came out of that. We've got Cuomo on record saying centralized control isn't the answer. We have him and others also saying government red tape is not good. It slows things down. It makes things costly. So these are some good things. These are positive things. People are starting to realize and starting to hear from people that they listen to that, hey, maybe this isn't the answer. And hopefully that resonates through for people well beyond this coronavirus issue here. The other thing that I want to emphasize on a political level is this shows that Medicare for all is not the answer. And many of you listening to the show already knew this. You already agree with this, but there have been a lot of posts I've seen on Facebook of people saying, "Well, this is why we need Medicare for all. This is why we need this or that." Uh, no. Look at Europe. Look at Italy. Like they have single payer healthcare. Look at what's going on over there. That did not solve this issue. And I think it's really important that everybody pay attention to this and recognize this, that Medicare for all would not have resolved this. And the people in a single payer system right now are very much suffering. And it's a big problem for them.
Yeah, and I think going hand in hand with this whole thing, Andrew, is the level of hysteria you're hearing from the media. Obviously, look, I'm not diminishing the threat the coronavirus poses, because it could potentially be a problem if it gets allowed to get out of hand. But the frantic coverage on a lot of media outlets is over the top, and it contributes to an unhealthy atmosphere for people. For example, it's really fueling a lot of this crazy hoarding that's going on. It's really hard to go into a grocery store these days, I got to tell you, or a general merchandise store like Dollar General or CVS, and that's all driven by the media.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And one of the things I would definitely say about that is, that kind of contributes to that whole thought of perception is truth, where the actual virus itself may not be as bad as we think it is, or as bad um, as the media is portraying it to be, but we're suffering in other ways with shortages. I think we're going to see some economic issues from this, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why I think it's important for us to look at some of the positives here, and talk about these issues and talk about how we can make this experience better and deal a little less with the media hysteria and maybe deal a little bit more with common sense and coming out of this as best as we can possibly be.
Yeah, I mean, an example of what I'm talking about is we had this breathless report this morning that over the weekend we went from 2 cases of coronavirus in Monroe County to 10. And one of the cases included somebody who works as some kind of a worker at the Friendly Home on East Avenue. Well, now we had a big press conference mid-morning about the first case of coronavirus in Ontario County. So, okay, so it's spread over to Ontario County, you think. Well, it turns out that one of the 10 cases over the weekend was this person who works at the Friendly Home who lives in Victor. So are we double reporting this single corona case are we double counting that? Because it appears that we're counting this person as, who lives in Victor as an Ontario County case, and it's also being racked up as a Monroe County case because she works at the Friendly Home.
Yeah, no, it totally that could totally be the the case there. I think that the media stands to gain a lot from this, absolutely, in terms of people being glued to the media, glued to what they're reporting, constantly checking in and commenting on their stuff, pumping their advertising dollars, pumping their viewership. Maybe people are even subscribing now to the news for that monthly membership access so that they can get more up-to-date reports. Yeah, I see that as a possibility. I'm sure the media is seeing a huge uptick from the sensationalism here, and I totally think that's possible, 100%.
So you gotta approach some of the media reports here with a little bit of skepticism. I think you should have respect for the fact that the virus is out there, but this is not the greatest health threat that's facing the country or the world right now. I'm sorry,
Yeah, no,
it's just not.
I agree. I think if you look at the numbers, this is probably one of the minimal impact ones in terms of health. But I think in terms of the economy and some of these other things we're going to see, the reactions that government has taken and that other people have taken, it's probably going to have the worst economic impact of anything we've seen in a long time.
Right, and I wonder how justified some of that is, because to stop all of the commerce. Look, I understand we're trying to announce a prevention here, and I applaud that, but I also don't want to overreact. And if folks out there, listening right now, want to know what they can do about this whole thing, okay, first of all, stop going out and hoarding stuff. Right there, stop doing that. It's not necessary. There's going to be plenty of food. There's going to be plenty of toilet paper. All you're doing is inconveniencing everybody else and forcing people to go into social situations they don't need to be in. Because look, if you're freaked out about the fact that there's no toilet paper and you repeatedly drive down to the store to check on the toilet paper supply, you're exposing yourself. You've got social interaction that's unnecessary going on. So stop doing that.
Yeah, no, I think that this latest action, people are going to start being kind of afraid to travel. So I think we're going to see a lot less of that. The other thing that we're seeing, and this kind of checks in under political, is guns and ammo are flying off the shelves. I mean, and it's not just conservatives buying guns, it's people on the left, people on the right, people in the middle. People are starting to wonder, if I call 911 and the police are busy with somebody else, who's responsible for me and my family? Oh, I am.
Yeah, are we gonna have toilet paper holdups? That's what I want to know.
Maybe.
Somebody come in and say, give me your Charmin or your life. Stick a gun in your face.
Yep, could be. So people are starting to prepare for that too. Self-defense is becoming a recognized thing across political ideologies again. All right, guys, you're listening to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in a moment.
Now, more than twice the power. More powerful FM 92.1, FM 95.5 West, and 1040 AM WYSL Avon Rochester.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center tonight. Increasing clouds. Could be a shower late. Temperatures around 40 degrees. Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day, a couple of showers, especially in the morning. Not a rain out. Temps in the 40s. A bit of sunshine. A drier day coming up on Wednesday with temperatures in the low 40s. Back into the 50s on Thursday. I'm Rich Canilia on WYSL.
Know why everybody's picking Patrick? It's the price. And it's easy. Patrick Buick GMC is the largest, most experienced Buick GMC dealer in Rochester. People have been picking Patrick for over 35 years because all our employees are highly trained professionals. People pick Patrick for our 3,000 five-star reviews with a 97% approval rating. And did you know Patrick has access to over 1,000 Buick and GMC trucks and SUVs? These days, everybody's picking Patrick for our special pricing for educators, GM employees, GM suppliers, military and first responders, even college grads. Plus, all our amazing offers at PatrickBuickGMC.com. Patrick, we are professional grade. Corner of Lehigh Station and West Henrietta Road. See why everybody's picking Patrick Buick GMC in Henrietta. Remember, it's easy to save more at your exclusive SUV and truck dealer.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations. Did Mom leave the stove on again? Dad forget to take his pills? The senior citizen in your life deserves to be treated like family in every way, and you deserve the peace of mind that comes from knowing your older family member is getting personalized care, even though they're not yet ready for a nursing home. Consider Alpine Manor, founded in 1971 by owner Tim Kinsella, and just 20 minutes from Rochester in Lima, Livingston County. At Alpine Manor, there are supervised activities and medications, full laundry and housekeeping services provided to your loved one in immaculate surroundings. You can move to warmer regions secure in the knowledge that your loved one is well cared for back at home. You could qualify for $1,830 per month VA benefits or $1,176 per month for a surviving spouse. Alpine Manor, New York State Health Department licensed. Call 346-5880 for a no-obligation tour or information, or visit alpinemanor.com.
Cobblestone Capital Advisors, LLC offers comprehensive financial management services throughout Western New York and nationwide. Cobblestone's an active supporter of numerous local organizations, including Mary Cariola Children's Center, Wilmot Cancer Center, Holy Childhood, Rochester Child First Network, and Golisano Children's Hospital. Since 1986, Cobblestone Capital Advisors has been building strong foundations for both its clients and its community. Cobblestone Capital Advisors, focused on one goal, yours.
Mary Cariola Center educates and cares for individuals with complex disabilities. School and residential jobs are available with outstanding benefits and continuing education opportunities. If interested, apply now at marycariola.org/employment.
Avon Gun and Hunting Supply, a locally owned and operated gun shop specializing in pre-owned firearms and repairs. Get your rifle, shotgun, or pistol serviced and tuned before you take it to the field. Open Tuesday through Saturday, Sunday and Monday by appointment. Avon Gun, East Main Street, next to the Bank of Castile.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. We're talking about some positive takeaways that we can take away from what's going on here with coronavirus. But before we do, I want to give a shout out to Garrett from YouTube. He, over the weekend, decided to support Radio Free New York on Patreon. So, Garrett, thank you very much for that. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I definitely appreciate it when you guys listen to the show and think that that you like the content enough to go over to Patreon and say, yeah, I want to support the show and sign up for a couple bucks a month. Definitely helps us out. So I appreciate that so much. And, ironically, Garrett is in here in the comments like almost every single day. And I don't see him today. So hopefully he jumps in. If I see him later in the show, I'll give him another shout out.
Might be waiting in line for toilet paper. Who knows?
Yeah, could be. So that just wanted to say thank you about that. So kind of moving on here, I do want to talk about some of the community highlights that I've seen over the weekend, maybe starting Thursday even. I'm seeing young people who are at low risk for getting the coronavirus stepping up online, offering to go shopping for high risk individuals, saying, hey, if you're high risk, if you're elderly or immune compromised or something like that, send me a shopping list. I'll go do the shopping for you so you don't have to risk being exposed. And I will, drop the stuff off for you at your porch or something like that and help you out in ways that I can because I'm healthier. I think that's amazing. I think that's so cool that that people are standing up and doing this. I'm seeing college students, colleges are being shut down. They're not in class and they're saying, hey, I can go out. I can do something. I can help with this. This is what I want to do. And I'm seeing other people do similar things. I'm seeing stay-at-home moms stepping up and saying, hey, if your school is closed, I'm watching my kids during the day. I'd be happy to watch your kids too. And so these are some of the things I'm starting to see that is just really cool, really awesome. Ways for people to reach out and be a positive beacon in their community at a time when people are scared and nervous and fearful. So I think that is a really cool thing. Some of the other things I'm seeing people post about small businesses. They're concerned about, their local small businesses being negatively impacted by this. And they're saying, hey, how can I help a small business? Who's a small business near me that I can buy something from or do something for to make sure that while times are hard, our small businesses are still taken care of. So I think this is just like a really cool thing. And I encourage people to keep doing it. I mean, this is a way to give people hope in a time that they're unsure about things, give them a little bit of stability, and also just kind of build up your local community. So I thought that was way cool. And I've seen multiple people posting about this sort of thing, which is just kind of nice to see that society isn't necessarily crumbling. Instead, people are getting closer together.
Yeah, and again, for the sake of repetition here, don't go out in the horde because that puts you in a situation which is exactly the polar opposite of what the sort of social responsibility and individual initiative that Andrew just referred to. Because if you go out and you try to hoard in school, in stores rather, you're going to get into fist fights and arguments with people and all kinds of other adversarial situations that do not contribute to resolving this situation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Another cool thing that I've been seeing is these little Facebook community groups popping up all over Monroe County and other counties across the state. And they're like food pantry and supplies groups, people saying, hey, if you know somebody who needs baby formula, let us know. We'll find somebody who's got it. If you need toilet paper, if you need food, and there are people who are posting, yeah, I'm short on this thing, and then you see a few other people comment, hey, I've got some extra. I'd love to get it to you. Where can I drop it off? So just seeing the community come together is just like a really beautiful thing. And I think that there are many people who are going to come out of this much better as people. And I think the community is going to come out of this much better as well as a result of like these type of actions. Obviously, if you're treating this like Black Friday and you're, getting into fights with security at the store and stuff over a watermelon or something, you're not going to come out of this better, and society's not going to come out of this better. But if you're taking the action that these other people are doing, where they're going to their neighbors and saying, hey, if you need anything, let me know. I might have the ability to help you, and really building up your community. I think that neighborhoods in general in New York and the people of New York are going to come together much closer. And not just New York, too. This is all across the country. The other thing I want to talk about is businesses and some of the technology that I think is getting just a lot better. I see that I've got customers now who are trying to figure out how can we better improve our business to overcome some of these economic hurdles that are coming in place. How do we better our customer service so that despite what's going on in the media, people feel comfortable calling us. They know that our quality of service is going to be good. Our customer service is going to be good. Our employees want to service and take care of these people. It's all good stuff. I'm seeing businesses also working on just making hygiene better. They're having better organization and better cleanliness so that people are not afraid to come to their establishment. And I think these are all like really good things that businesses are taking the initiative to do. They're not doing it because the government told them to do it. They're doing it because they know they have to adapt to the market. And if they want people to come and patronize them, they have to be cleaner. They have to have better service, and they have to have people feeling comfortable and safe coming into their establishments. And the other cool thing too that I really like is I'm seeing a lot of businesses work towards that work from home model, which I think really allows employees to focus better on work for the most part. There are exceptions. There are some people that work much better in a controlled environment. But statistics have shown for years that employees that work from home are happier, and because they're happier, they're more productive, they get more work done, they give better customer service, better quality of work, and a couple like really cool health benefits too. But I think up until this point, a lot of businesses have been really resistant to allowing employees to work from home because it takes away a little bit of control. And as a business owner, I understand that fear. I actually run my business probably a lot more laid back than most business owners are comfortable with. But we're very successful with that model. And statistically, businesses who run a little bit more of a laid back model with work from home options are more successful. And I think this is actually going to help some of our small businesses break into something that they were afraid of. And I think it's only going to make their businesses better, more resilient, and their employees happier long term. So I'm pretty excited about that too.
I'm looking forward to this wrapping up and getting back to normal at the earliest possible time. I'm sure that all the rest of you are as well. But,
oh, yeah.
We, in order to get to that place, we all have to pull together, and we have to exercise, common sense restraint and good practices. Namely, washing your hands, not going anywhere when you're sick, social distance, all the things that have been harped on in the media.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'll leave you guys with one more thing that's kind of cool. It's gonna happen. I don't know if it's gonna continue on afterwards, but New York State is actually going to allow off-premises sale of alcohol. So those of you who have a liquor license, I don't know, maybe you can do DoorDash, Uber Eats, or something like that from the liquor store. That's kind of like a cool new age thing where liquor stores could actually use technology. I'm not so much excited that it's liquor stores. I'm more so excited that it's loosening some regulations that could help other businesses in the future. Maybe we find out, hey, this isn't such a bad idea. We should let other industries do this as well. So those are a couple of the positives on a community aspect and on the business aspect. We're going to take our break here on Radio Free New York. When we come back, I've got a couple more positives to hit for you guys. We'll be back in a moment on Radio Free New York.
Radio Free New York.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Aircraft Environmental Systems proudly supports Radio Free New York. Rochester-based leaders in climate simulation chambers for America's R&D laboratories. We're experts in troubleshooting, calibrations, custom designs, and consulting for more than 40 years. Industry pioneers, we created the first ever fleet of temperature, humidity, and altitude test chambers available to rent coast to coast. Trained and trusted by environmental chamber manufacturers, we are ACES. Find us at acesinc.com.
Human trafficking is when someone is being forced, tricked, or coerced to engage in a sex trade or forced labor. If you're a kid and forced to sell sex, drugs, or work against your will, that's trafficking. You're not a criminal, and there is help available. Call the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 888-373-7888 or text Be Free. Sponsored by the Livingston County Safe Harbors Human Trafficking Task Force.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. We're talking about positives with coronavirus, things that you can look at and think, oh, well, you know, this is something that was good that came out of this situation. Right before we took the break, I had mentioned that New York State's going to allow off-premises alcohol sales. And Jay on Facebook says they're only doing it for the tax revenue. Jay, you're 100% correct. Government rarely does the right thing for the right reason. And Cuomo did actually say that their budget, their everything, their projections is way, way over what they anticipated taking in. So tax revenue is down substantially. I actually think that that's part of why Cuomo is starting to shut down parts of the government. I don't believe that it has as much to do with reducing people's interactions. I think it has a lot more to deal with they are so severely underfunded right now because they're not bringing in the tax dollars they need to, that they are going to be in even more trouble than we normally are, which is saying a lot. So the other thing I want to bump in here is education and talk about the positive piece on education. It's pretty important to talk about this for a few reasons. One is I think people are starting to become open to homeschooling. And I think that that's a really, really positive thing. I really like the idea of homeschooling. I know some people are so opposed to homeschooling because they feel like the education given in homeschool isn't as good. Maybe that the kids are not going to be social and work well in society.
That's been debunked six ways
Yeah.
to Sunday.
Oh,
That's just not the
absolutely.
case. And the people who really oppose homeschooling are doing it on a political agenda. That's because they like the fact that government schools are acting as a conveyor belt to indoctrinate our kids, and homeschooling is a threat to that. So of course they oppose that.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely on board. I was homeschooled only 1 year of my education. I had kind of a weird thing. I had gone to private school, homeschool, and public school. So I have different things I like about each of them. But I really do support homeschool. I hope that a lot of people sit here through this situation and go, you know what? I'm open to homeschooling. I think that's something I want to do. I think that could just be an amazing thing for our state. And then the next thing too is being that schools are now going to remote, which I think is going to make is going to make some long-term impacts that can help us moving forward. One of which is I think long-term it's going to reduce costs. I don't think it's going to reduce costs right away. I think things are actually going to cost more going to remote, especially in terms of technology, software licensing, that sort of thing. So I'm a little worried about that, but I think long-term there has been a push to do remote education. I think people are now open to it. And I think that long term, we're going to see that that could be a really positive thing.
Yeah, there's all kinds of community support for homeschooling if you're considering it for your kid. You're not on your own. There are parents groups. There's the HSLC. There's a lot. Just go online and you'll be amazed at the various resources that there are to support you. One of the things you'll find too is that the school day is tremendously shorter as opposed to when your kids go to government schools.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. And I think the other thing is you can just teach so much richer content, and you can teach in a way that the child actually learns. Whereas government regulations in schools really kind of force children to have to learn in one specific way, and that just might not be the way that child works. It might not be the way that child learns. And I've said for years now that there are two people who know how a child learns best. The first being the child's parent, and the secondary being that teacher that works with a child every day. And why would we ever take somebody in Albany hundreds of miles away and let them decide how your child learns? It should really be a local thing. And I think this is going to give people that opportunity to have that connection with their children, interact with them, and help them learn things in a way they just may have never learned in school.
No, I think that's all great. The concern is that if this starts to gather a head of steam, it starts to really get some momentum going, that you're going to see, I think you'll see government education regulators and educrats come down on it like a ton of bricks.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, they're already under funds as it is. Well before the coronavirus came in, enrollment is down severely, especially from just population drop because so many people are leaving the state. So yeah, education is definitely already in trouble. This is going to push education in a better direction, but it won't necessarily be a better direction for government schools. And they're going to find some sort of way to try to adapt and overcome.
Yeah, they'll try to
100%.
regulate it. Yep, they'll try to. You're going to see invasive regulation, and you're going to find some parents who are maybe pursuing a politically incorrect agenda from the perspective of state education regulators. You're going to see somebody being made an example out of.
Yeah, no doubt that will more than likely happen. Some other positive things, a little bit outside of education, are that I think once all this blows over, I think it's going to get a little bit worse before it gets better. To be honest, I think that
with the coronavirus, you mean?
Just kind of the societal reaction in general. I think that we're looking at After restaurants and bars get closed down, I kind of feel like government might restrict things a little bit more throughout the week before things get loosened up again. And I think after that happens, I think society as a whole is going to have a little bit more of a renewed appreciation for face to face interactions, traveling within their community, taking things like road trips. I kind of feel like people are going to have a new appreciation for that, especially because the weather will be just a little bit nicer, hopefully. Um, and so I definitely see this as one of these things where people are starting to isolate themselves indoors because they're afraid. And I see them missing that social interaction. And when all this blows over, them coming out and wanting to be even more engaged with their community, more engaged with their neighborhoods, maybe take on some additional activism, do something like gardening, all sort of that stuff. I think it's going to give people just a little bit of a push back into a social direction.
Well, we can always hope.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I mean, or it could go the exact opposite way, which
yeah.
I did think about this too, where people maybe sit there and realize that, you know what, they really don't like interacting with society, and their phone is more entertaining than people that they come into contact with, and maybe they dive even deeper into being antisocial. But I'm optimistic about it. I think that people are going to want social interaction when this is all done.
I just look at social media and I see that as a surrogate in many cases for some people as opposed to real societal interaction.
Yeah, I think, and I could be totally wrong here. You know, this is solely my opinion, but I think that a week in isolation with nothing but social media is going to leave people wanting more, having a social interaction void, and maybe they'll even be sick and tired of Facebook and Instagram by then. I could be totally wrong. I mean, social media is kind of like a drug. People might just come out even more addicted to it. That's also a possibility.
Now, from the numbers that I've seen, the use of social media is not as universal as conventional wisdom would have you believe. It certainly has a big presence out there, no question about it. But it's most of the use is by a relatively small number of subscribers.
Interesting. Yeah, no, that is interesting. I think I do remember early last year, Facebook having like their first ever quarter where they either went down or remained constant in users. So that may be, social media might be on the downturn. All right, guys, you're listening to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow.